Well, hello everyone and welcome to this week's video from Veg Grower Podcast. And this week I've inherited my granddad's greenhouse. Now this may look like to anybody an old greenhouse, and you're right, it is an old greenhouse. It's 40 years old. Now I always remember my grandfather working in this greenhouse. He would have tomatoes and seedlings everywhere and just using it to grow his own food. If you've listened to the podcast, you'll hear I quite often talk about my grandfather being my inspiration for my gardening. World War II, when that broke out, his parents lived on the nursery, so he knew about how to grow food. So his headmaster pulled him aside and asked him to teach his fellow students how to grow food. So that's where I think I get my gardening bug from. I think that's really cool. And I've talked about this a lot on the podcast. So anyway, my grandfather died a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, not long now, and this greenhouse was just kind of sitting there not being used. So my gran said to me, would I like it? And I said, yeah, of course. Now I've already got a little greenhouse at home. The one at home is 6 foot by 6 foot, but that's rapidly filling up. This greenhouse is 6 foot by 8 foot, so it's a bit bigger. So yes, Good Friday we packed it up, we moved it here, and we done it all in one day, which I was kind of surprised about. Now all the glass came out very easily, just a case of undoing the springs and removing the glass. There was a couple of broken panes already, and during transportation we broke a couple more. All in all, 6 panes that are broken, so that's not bad for something that's 40 years old. I've kept the panes that are broken on this side so I can easily replace them at a later date. They're not going to do bad at all. After removing the panes, of course, we had to undo all the nuts and bolts, and they, I thought, were going to be a real pain. They weren't. There was 3 bolts around the door frame that were very rusty, and we had to cut those. They were no good. But the main body of this, the nuts and bolts, were aluminium, and they just came apart easy. We had this greenhouse dismantled in 2.5 hours between myself, my brother and my uncle. I thought that was really good going. Now after that we moved it here and rebuilt it. Now on the floor I've put some slabs that I've screwed the base into. Now I'm going to add a few more slabs later on over the next few weeks to give it a bit more rigidity and strength on the bottom. But we built this in an afternoon and I'm really happy with it. Not only because it was my grandfather, but you know, this thing's 6 foot by 8 foot greenhouse on my allotment, and it's just going to help me produce more food. I'm hoping melons and tomatoes, and those sort of things, just to produce more. So I'm very pleased with it. Yes, it is old. It's 40 years old. It's older than me, and I can say that quite happily. But it's still going strong. It's going to last a great number of years, I hope. So yeah, that's what I've been up to over this Easter weekend. I based it around building this. So very pleased to have this greenhouse now. Look forward to seeing what's going on in the future with this, and it's given me a few ideas on what to do up the front and how to change a few things on this allotment site with the setup that I've got here. So thank you very much for watching. Please take care, and I will see you again next time.